This is modern day Baghdad, but let's go back to the year 865, to a time and place with mechanical moving medieval robots. Let's visit a place at the heart of the translation movement that allowed knowledge to move from Greek, Arabic, and to what it is today. But in a few centuries, it doesn't end very well, especially for the Caliph. Welcome to Abbasid Baghdad in 865. This is the Middle East, this is the Abbasid Empire, and here is Baghdad. So firstly, what is a Caliph? So think of a king, but they're in charge of religious matters, such as the Islamic community, and organising religious laws. But also they're in charge of secular things such as how to set taxes, and what TV channels you're allowed to watch. Now, the early Islamic Empire was ruled by the Umayyad Caliphs, but the Abbasids wanted to get rid of them and take power for themselves. So they invited all the Umayyads to a big feast. And can you guess what happened? Yeah, they killed them all. Now, at the time, the seat of power was in Damascus, so the Abbasids needed to move from there and set up their own capital city. So they came up with the idea of Medinat al-Salam, which means the city of peace. So they found the perfect location, on a riverbank. They then built a central round area where the Caliph would live, and around that would be a bigger circle for the elites, and around that would be room for everyone else. Now, there was only one problem. It was located next to a small fishing village called Baghdad, and eventually everyone was like, Medina al-what? So yeah, everyone just ended up calling the new city Baghdad. As Baghdad grew, the 9th and 10th centuries really was a golden age for the Islamic Empire. Knowledge flooded in from ancient Egypt, India, Persia, China, ancient Rome and Greece. Under the Abbasids, there was a real flourishing of maths and philosophy, science and astronomy, medicine and natural sciences. Learning knowledge was so important that merchants selling books could earn their weight in gold. But keep in mind that only useful books were prized by the Abbasids, everything else didn't really matter. Okay, but just how peaceful was Baghdad during this golden age? Generally, it was quite a tolerant society between Muslims, Christians, Jews and Zoroastrians, but it did sometimes depend on the mood of the Caliph. So on a bad day, Caliphs would force non-Muslims to pay the extra jizya tax, force them to wear yellow, and not allow them to build or repair their places of worship. Come on, that's a bit mean. So, what would we see if we went to Abbasid Baghdad? In the centre of the round city, we'd see the great mosque of Al-Mansur, the city's main place of worship. And just next to that, the palace of the Green Dome. That's where the Caliph lives. But no one can really see him, as he's always hidden behind a special curtain. In the palace, you can also see lively debates between Baghdad's top minds. Next, we can visit the Beit al-Hikmah, the House of Wisdom. Think of a really big library, but mixed up with a science laboratory, all in one. So you'd see academics experimenting with alchemy, astronomy, and the natural world. Then there's the Bamaristan, the world's first real hospital. Yep, medicine's come a long way from a few decades earlier. Arab practitioners were able to perform quite complex medical operations. Plus, there was the Mutazib, a kind of inspector making sure everything runs smoothly. If they caught anyone making bad medicines, they would chase them down and arrest them. Either way, it's far better than anything Europe has to offer. So, where can you visit outside Abbasid Baghdad? Try Samarra. So here, the Abbasid army used to consist of mainly Arabs, but eventually they outsourced it to the Turks. And over time, they became too powerful to control. The locals didn't like this, so riots. The Abbasids decided to move from Baghdad to a brand new purpose-built capital, Samarra. Once finished, it had grand palaces and even the world's biggest mosque. But once there, the Caliphs were at the full mercy of the Turks. And if they didn't see eye to eye, yeah. So, what's the score for Abbasid Baghdad? With domes, palaces, minarets, and a whole load of books and satin stuff, it's getting a 2. So, if you want healthcare where you might actually recover, if you have an interest in science, nature, history, philosophy, or you just want to be in the greatest city of the 9th century, then Abbasid Baghdad is the place for you.